And so let's fast forward to the present day. Drum roll, please. How much is Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson worth now?
Forbes is estimating that Justice Jackson's worth about $2 million today. That is the lowest on the Supreme Court, tied with Brett Kavanaugh, who's also worth, we're estimating, about $2 million. But the difference between Jackson and Kavanaugh is Jackson has a book coming out soon, and we're expecting to see her net worth, or her, at least her income, and if she saves it, her net worth, shoot up in the coming year.
I want to talk about the future for her financially because it is looking bright. But before that, you have a really good pie chart in your reporting on her net worth, and it's divided into three things: her DC home, vacation home, and liquid assets. Can you talk about her real estate portfolio first?
Sure. So her current home, her and her husband bought right after she became a judge in 2013 or so. And that home, along with the rest of the DC real estate market, has done very, very well. Her equity's grown a lot. She's got about $1 million, around $1 million in equity in the home. It's worth about $2.4 million in total, but you have to net out the mortgage. So she's got plenty of equity in a very large home in DC. And then she also, the other part of her real estate portfolio is a little more of a mystery. She declares a 20% share worth $400,000 of a vacation home, but we don't have any other details on that. I did find a report that suggested that this vacation home was in West Virginia, but other than that, this is kind of one example of one of the gaps in these disclosures. She doesn't have to disclose very many details about where this real estate, about where this home is, how much did she buy it for, when did she buy it for, that kind of thing. None of these things are sort of public information. So. As of right now, Forbes is keeping the estimate that she gave on her statement of net worth when she became a Supreme Court justice, which was 20% share, $400,000. Clearly, that means it's a pretty nice home if it's worth $2 million.
And let's talk about the rest of that pie chart. How much of her wealth is liquid?
About a third of her wealth is liquid. It's tied up in combination of mutual funds and her husband's retirement accounts.
Kyle, I know you've explained this before, but can you tell our viewers again, how much does a Supreme Court justice make in a year?
They just got their salaries updated for 2024, actually. So her salary is $298,500 a year.
As you mentioned earlier, Kyle, Ketanji Brown Jackson's future is looking bright, at least financially. Can you talk about that book deal a little bit?
Absolutely. So book deals are common for Supreme Court justices. Sonia Sotomayor got very wealthy off of her book deals. Ketanji Brown Jackson reportedly signed a $3 million book deal the year that she joined the court, or just after she joined the court, which was in 2022. She was writing a memoir. It is scheduled to be out later this year, published by Penguin Random House. And like I said, it's reportedly a $3 million book deal, but none of it has showed up on her disclosures yet. So if I had to bet, I'd say that some of that income is going to show up in one form or another, either in terms of cash accounts or in terms of assets that she's bought on her next disclosure for 2023, which will be released in mid-2024.
And Ketanji Brown Jackson is one of the youngest Supreme Court justices, but in about a dozen or so years from now, she's going to have a nice pension to look forward to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So she is, like you said, she's the second youngest justice on the court. Only Amy Coney Barrett is younger. Jackson has, a very generous pension. The Supreme Court has an extremely generous pension plan. So when she turns 65 in 2035, Justice Jackson will be eligible for basically to receive her annual salary for the rest of her life. Forbes estimates that at that time, that pension will, if she retired the day she turned 65, that pension would be worth over $3 million. Now, most justices don't retire when they turn 65. You can look at most of the justices on the court right now are well over that. But, we'll just have to see. We have no idea, when exactly she'll retire. But nonetheless, that's a pretty hefty asset that she'll have. Could be a fairly large impact on her net worth as soon as she turns 65.